Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuque.
And Clint Ritchie.
What? Where's David? Hold on a second.
He's on
Hold
vacation,
on
I think.
What? No. It's podcast day.
It is
He
podcast
can't be
day.
on vacation. Hold on a second here. Let me call this guy. David. It's podcast day. Where are you?
Senior win. I got your mic and your drink.
I'll take your drink and the mic. Devin, what's going on? I'm on vacation. I'm on Freedom Friday for the week. I'll tell you what, you take the mic and I'll keep the drink. See you guys later.
All right, man. I guess you deserve a break. Hey, enjoy it, brother. We got this one. I got Clint here, and I think he's going to take care of us. I guess, guys, David's not going to make this one. So, welcome to Real Estate Success Partners. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuque.
And Clint Ritchie.
Clint Ritchie. I love it. And we're here to talk about how to have great success in any market. Hey, guys, today we're right outside of the Star in Dallas, Texas, and we've got an amazing guest here with us, Anna Mangieri with the Tanya Peak Group at Coldwell Banker. And man, I think this is going to be a fantastic podcast because Anna, you're doing some great things out there.
Thank you. Yeah.
We know who you are. But we want our followers to get to know a little bit more about you. Where are you from, Anna? How'd you get in this business?
Thank you, Devin. Well, originally I'm from New York,
Okay.
and we moved here because of my husband's job. We actually migrated from New York to Tennessee, and then from Tennessee to the Dallas area.
Just kept getting farther south.
Yeah, it was quite a culture shock.
You must like the heat.
I actually do love it. I can't complain.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So New Yorker, big Cowboys fan.
No.
Oh, we were on the wrong.
I know.
We were the wrong thing today,
Well,
Clint.
I mean, I am from New York, so it's and of course I work right next door to the Star. So
You do.
my family's they're not on their way to visit me anytime soon.
Yeah, so you got to go up north to catch a game.
Well, no, I mean to catch a game that I like. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So what part of New York are you from?
From the metro area in the
From the
suburbs.
metro. That's
Mhm.
awesome. And you grew up there, lived there till
Till about 2009, and then we were moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
It was 2008. Everybody knows that story.
Yeah.
Everyone has a 2008 story, and that
Right.
led us to Tennessee,
It did.
where I had never heard a country song before in my
Oh,
life.
what part of Tennessee?
Nashville.
Nashville.
go.
You know, I was just there not that long ago.
It was nice, though.
Beautiful,
We liked
yeah,
it.
great town.
Yeah,
A lot
it
of
is
fun.
fun.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
then
fun.
my husband's job, he moved laterally to Texas, and
Okay.
that's where we've stayed since.
So when did you get into the real estate business?
So we got here in 2012 and decided the kids were getting old enough where
Yeah.
I could go and branch out and work.
That's great.
And 2014, I got my license and started working because it's something I could do from home.
So you're right at about a decade in.
Correct.
I love it. I love it. And you came in, started on the Tiny Peak Group right out of the starting gate, right?
Not exactly.
Oh.
No, I started with a different brokerage. I was there for about 5 years.
Okay.
Got some accolades there and was in a mentorship role, but I just felt I was kind of like stagnant. My career hadn't moved that
It
much.
wasn't going where you wanted it to go.
So I looked around and to see where I could grow, and Coldwell
Yeah.
Banker just had such a gigantic marketing machine
They do.
that I decided to have an interview, and that's what led me to Tanya.
They're a giant in the industry, and you're a Giants fan, so it just kind of played into each other, huh?
I guess so. Somehow across from the Star, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So you get over here in the Tanya Peak Group, and you're doing a lot of buy sides, right?
Actually, more of a listing agent.
Oh, the list sides. That's what it is. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And so how'd you get on that? Because I know, a lot of people wonder, what's the difference between a buy side agent and a list side agent?
Well, all licensed real estate agents can do either or both.
Right.
Um, I think when you're starting off, there's just more buyers. You
Yeah.
have that you get that attention easier,
Yeah.
and as you get to know the industry a little bit better,
Build some
you
relationships.
yeah, because you need to have a little bit more experience to work with sellers. It's a little bit more demanding,
Absolutely.
and so I certainly do both, but I lean towards the sellers
That's
and
great. That's
listings.
great. And what part of the market do you typically service? We're here in Dallas Fort Worth.
So I'm from McKinney, and my
Okay.
website is actually called McKinney Mindset. I like to specialize there because it's local, but we do a lot of business in the Fort Worth, Denton, and Collin counties. Dallas, I've been to Fort Worth,
Yeah.
up to Pottsboro. We really there's nothing too far really.
So no section of the DFW that's outside of reach
Not
when
really.
you're working
If it's
with
on
AI.
on
Yeah.
our MLS, we can handle it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And you know, I'm from well, I'm from Kansas originally, but lived in McKinney for a little over 10 years. So I'm definitely familiar with that area. Loved watching it grow up.
Yes.
You know, actually, I moved out there in 2003, and
Well,
you know, they'd already started to develop, but within these last 5-10 years, it's just become a really
it
thriving
really is.
community.
When we got here, it was only about 50% developed, and
Yeah.
we're still nowhere near close to capacity.
No, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. You're right. It's great. There's a great downtown area out in McKinney. I was just out there the other day. Local yokel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah,
give them a shout out and a plug if you guys are looking for great barbecue
and
or butchered
entertainment.
meats.
Yeah,
They
great
Yeah,
food in
they
general.
and entertainment. They
that's
have
right.
some live acts there too.
That's right. I think they owe us. They owe us a
A little
commission. Yeah,
well.
on the plug there.
A matter of fact, great salads that you recommended, Devin, right?
That's right. That's right. We were just there the other day. We were out with the CEO of Tradition Homes,
Mhm.
and we went to local yokel, and they've got this health grain bowl that's crazy. They smoked the
I've
quinoa.
had it. It's terrific.
It's unbelievable,
Hmm.
right? If you're a vegetarian and want to try barbecue,
Go to the steakhouse.
go to the steakhouse. Go to the steakhouse. Wild stuff, right? So cool. So working for the Tanya Peak Group, native out of McKinney now, right?
Hmm.
And talk about we always like to ask, what is your real estate superpower, right? What is it that you're known for in this industry?
My Super Bowl. Well, being from New York, it's a different culture there,
Yeah,
and everyone's very polite here. We New Yorkers get the reputation for being a little aggressive, but it's really not that. We're just honest and
yeah,
straightforward, and
that's
that's
right.
kind of my superpower. I'm very, very honest. Tell it like it is. Not everyone appreciates it in the
Right.
beginning, but they sure do at the end of the transaction.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Because we've explored this on other shows, and a lot of times, if you get the wrong agent, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. But why is it that you don't want to tell the bar what they want to hear? How does that actually improve the experience for the consumer?
Well, I mean, especially when it comes to pricing a home, a seller always wants that price that's unreachable because
Yeah,
they're in fantasy land, and you have to bring them back down to reality.
right.
I have lost listings where I would not list at a price that I knew it couldn't sell,
Yeah.
and I've watched that house get stale on the market and have those sellers call me and say, "Anna, can you help me out? I think you were right."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's important, right? Because again, there are numbers where your consumers come in and go, man, I've seen these things selling for this and I want this for my home. And maybe they're not looking at what you're going to look at, right? You're going to go out there and you're going to do an evaluation of that marketplace. You know what homes are selling and what they've sold for because you have access to that to the NMLS. And you're using your expertise on that side of the industry. Like you said, you started off as a buyer's agent. You move into doing a little bit more listing, even though you do both, right?
Hmm.
But that's because you've gained that expertise of understanding the market, where homes should be priced at, so that you can represent your borrower with confidence and say, hey, when you list a home with Anna Mangieri, you know you're going to get what we ask for, and sometimes maybe even a little bit more.
There's a strategy to getting there for sure.
That's it. And this, we talk about this all the time. Working with a true professional is so important, right? When you're a consumer out there and you're looking for buying your first home or maybe your next home, and you go to the wrong agent, it's not always going to be the same experience, right?
Correct. First time buyers are, you have to treat them completely differently from someone that's buying their second lake home,
Yeah.
or someone that's getting into investing. Even a first time investor over a seasoned investor. There's so many nuances to every different transaction, and you have to be prepared for it. I have a degree in sociology, which I never thought I'd use,
Right?
and it's finally coming handy.
It's strange how that works out,
Uh-huh.
right? We go into it thinking, hey, we want to do this one career, and then we go another completely direction from it. But that training we got in the beginning,
Hmm.
it always seems to come back and help us out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fan. You look like you want to say something, Clint.
Yeah, well, I come from a real estate family, and so aside from helping people, with the largest financial transaction of their lives, most likely, what do you really enjoy the most besides schedule flexibility with
Oh,
real estate?
I do love working with people. My, this is going to be strange, but my background is actually, I'm first generation in this country. From an immigrant Italian family,
Okay.
and we had a bunch of dry cleaners in the family. So I actually owned and operated dry cleaners before I got into this industry. And I'm all about the servicing, because it is the largest transaction
That's
of your
right.
life. And it is a financial transaction, but how you service your client makes all the difference to how comfortable they are with it, because there's buyer's remorse, which is the worst thing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's seller's remorse too, which I've had to deal with, and it's an emotional process.
Can you give some examples for our audience in regards to like some of the things that you've just learned over your experience in dry cleaning and in real estate that you can actually help a consumer feel more comfortable in their decision making?
A demanding client is usually demanding for a reason. You have to get to the heart of that. It usually has nothing to do with the product
Yeah.
that you're selling or buying, or it has to do with the emotion behind it. And usually, with selling a home, there's a lot
Of
of
emotion.
emotions attached to that:
Yeah.
loss, gain, growth. All of these things are painful.
Yeah, and then if they lived in a house for an extended period of time, they've got sweat equity, and
Hmm.
and it's kind of like they value it more than what the reality of the matter is, and so
Or they have to get out of the house. I mean,
right.
it's usually
Yeah.
there is a plain pain versus pleasure in every transaction. It's never just smooth and easy. And if you're dealing with a very demanding client, that's usually there's a reason for it. And when you can solve that or ease that situation, then the rest of the transaction will become a lot
Well,
easier.
and I think what you're trying to say there is that all transactions aren't created equal. There are going to be some things going on inside of that transaction that can be difficult and stressful. But when you've got a great agent like Anna, right, that knows the ins and outs, you don't necessarily feel that stress
Correct.
because you're taking that in and you're spinning it around to make sure that that process feels smooth and flawless so the consumer can get into that home without those stress headaches going, my representation was right on this one. I went with the right agent, and the process is just so much more comfortable because I chose the right person.
That's absolutely correct. Most people don't understand that it's a process and a tedious and long one. And you could start off great and end up really, really anxious. And so you need a professional that can ease that and make it smooth.
So you're saying you don't just show them a couple houses and sign a piece of paper, and that's the transaction.
Well, ideally, that would be fantastic.
We'd love that too,
Right.
right?
And sometimes it goes that way. I mean,
Yeah,
every transaction is different, but no, there's a process that has to do with the finances,
yeah.
you're meeting your criteria, but it's really, really comes down to the emotions of it.
It does. It does. And we call it the mortgage puzzle, right? There's a puzzle with every consumer that you bring to market. And it's jobs for the professionals, the mortgage side and the realtor side, to take those pieces of the puzzle and work together as a team to snap them together so that when the consumer sees it, it's not the 1,000 piece puzzle that it really is. It's a 10 piece child's puzzle to them. They're just doing a couple of quick steps while the mortgage side and the real estate side is behind the scenes putting all those 1,000 pieces together and making it just look super simple.
It's very correct. We usually start our buyers with a buyer consultation before we even begin to look at homes. And one of the conversations I have with them, besides explaining the process, is that you are part of a team now. Your lender, your real
Yeah,
estate agent, and your escrow team.
that's right.
We're all going to work together along with the cooperating agent. And it's all about the teamwork. And that's part of what will make the process a lot smoother.
Well,
And communication.
talk about processes because you mentioned it here, but there is a process with any successful real estate agent. There's always a process behind it. We'd love to hear a little bit about yours. So I'm a buyer and I'm coming in for the first time and saying, hey, I want to buy a house or I want to sell a house. What does that experience look like for them?
Okay. Well, we'll have our buyer consultation first. And I want to put all of the expectations on the table because a lot of buyers have been watching HGTV, and you can ask Tanya about that because she's been on
Yeah,
an episode of that.
that's
And it's
awesome.
very scripted and not very real. And so we want to give them the reality of the process. We want
Yeah,
to sometimes you do fall in love with the first house you see, and sometimes you have to go through a bunch.
yeah,
So what's really, really important is getting the criteria.
yeah,
And not just I want 3 bedrooms, I want 2 baths, I want a big yard. Why is that important to you?
yeah,
We will typically say we have to go 3 whys deep on every question because we really want to know what is the reason for your criteria. Otherwise, you're never going to get them what they want.
yeah.
And then we discuss the process about how what's the market look like? Because in this market, and this is something you're very familiar with, we can't
Absolutely.
go looking at houses without a pre-approval from a reputable lender.
100%.
Because you're going to look at a house, you're going to wait till you get a pre-approval, and that house will be under contract
That's
by the
right.
weekend.
That's
So
right.
it's really important that we get them connected with a reputable lender and make that partnership if they're not already there. And sometimes if the lender is less than reputable
Yeah,
will recommend a second opinion.
yeah.
Uh,
You want to make sure they're having the right experience. And you're right. Working with the right real estate partners is a big part of that because you've got to have the trust factor that the work that you're putting in on your side is going to be reciprocated on the financing side. So there's great communication throughout the loan process. And at the end of the day, you can trust the pre approval that's being backed by that
exactly.
consumer. So you may have a consumer that comes to market and maybe they do have a pre approval, but maybe it's not one that you can trust, you
Hmm.
can stand behind. So
Correct.
you're going to help put them in touch with the right people that 100% without a shadow of the doubt will get them to the closing table on time.
Hey, I got a question. So, when you're talking about a reputable lender, how important is it from a realtor standpoint that you and the lending partner are in constant communication and on the same page, so that you guys, you and the lender are basically saying the same thing to the client,
That's very
especially in
important.
this market?
That's the number one thing is let's make sure we're saying the same thing to the client, because we all want to be on the same page.
Can you elaborate why that's
Well,
important?
in this market, there is still, listen, everybody wants to move to Texas. And so if there's an affordable house that's in great shape, it's the prettiest girl at the dance. Everybody's going to ask her to dance. And there's going to be multiple offers. And we want to make sure that our buyer knows what that process is like. And we have to have really hard conversations with them and verify it with their lender. What are their funds on hand? What is their interest rate? What is their affordability? How much extra can they go above the listing price? It's really important numbers that we need to know without just being, well, just offer that because we really want that house. And then knowing we, at the end, we can't finance this
Right.
because it didn't appraise.
That's
There's
right.
so many different issues that we have to be in constant communication with. And the lender and the real estate agent, sometimes it's good cop, bad cop, but it's information that our clients need to know to set their expectations because you can't just say, well, just put this offer on it, even though it's 20,000 above the list price, because we have to know, will your lender approve that? Will the house appraise for that? And if it doesn't appraise for that, do you have enough money in your bank account for that gap?
Right.
And a lot of,
Verifiable assets too,
Yeah.
right? That's important as
right,
well.
which is,
Where are those funds coming from?
yeah, and these are especially with the first time home buyers, they don't understand the process, and you really have to be um, realistic with them.
Right.
And I like to say this, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because me as your real estate agent, I might see you in your underwear, but your lender's going to see you naked. So, so we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable
Yes.
and sharing
And
information.
and so Devin and I talk about this all the time when we're coaching some of our people that we work with in regards to uh, when we touch the lead, we touch the partner. So when we
Hmm.
touch the client, talk to the client, we immediately call you and let you know what's going on. Because if there's any contradiction in either one of our stories, it sounds more like a sales pitch
Hmm.
as opposed to what truly is the professional opinion, right? And what we found is people that are get confused or there's any seeds of doubt whatsoever, they kind of shut down and put the brakes on, right? And especially in this market where, we're both kind of fighting low inventory, higher rates. People are kind of, we
Investor
constantly,
buyers,
yeah,
Investor burn.
we constantly hear, oh, we're gonna wait till the rates go down, and before we make a decision. But what they're leaving out of the equation is, hey, property in Texas, because everyone wants to move here, is constantly appreciating at 5 to 10% a year. So if you wait a year, that $400,000 house is maybe now 440 or 450 or whatever, and rates may have not gotten down. Talk about some of the educational things that you guys try to do at the Tanya Peak Group to kind of enlighten, the real estate consumer on, when the most opportune time is to buy.
the opportune time to buy is always going to be now. If you've got the funds
Yeah.
and and you are worthy, lender worthy, financially ready to buy a house, you never wait. Because as you said, especially in Texas, the prices are always appreciating. They're not going to go down unless the condition of the house goes down.
Right.
And rates, we don't know what their future holds, but they could go up if you're waiting for them to go down. Unfortunately, the first time home buyers that got used to these 3% interest rates thought that that was the norm.
That
Right.
was fantasy land.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
but people of our generation understand that. I mean, I bought my first house at 8%, and we
That's
were
right.
happy to have it. And my parents bought in the double digits,
Right.
but they can't wrap their heads around that, and so they're afraid, and so they wait. But and then of course then it sounds sales pitchy because you want to tell them no, it's now's the time to buy.
Right.
And so there's a lot of trust involved in real estate, so you can't push too hard, but at the same time you can't just let them wait, because so many people that I know that waited when the interest rates were at 4%. Well, I'll wait till they go back down. They didn't. They went up and they were only in the maybe 350 price range. Guess what? They've been priced out of the market.
Right.
And now they have to rent.
Well, and what I hear you saying is you're providing them education, right? Because you're right. Now's the time to buy. It sounds very sales pitchy. But when you provide them the education behind why now is always the right time to buy, it isn't a pitch because you actually have supporting detail behind that, right? And I think one of the biggest things, and we touched on it a minute ago, is not only is now a great time to buy because they're because the inventory is low, but it's low in a sense to where when the market does improve, if that happens, right, the inventory is low. So the consumers that are going to rush to the market when the rates get great, they're going to blow out that inventory so fast, everybody's going to be bidding over the top. So not only do these homes start to appreciate
Mhm.
as they're waiting for the market to come down, but the competition is going to become more fierce because everybody's going to be fighting for the same houses. So
Yeah.
the consumer that comes in right now is actually come in and sometimes actually get it at asking or maybe even under. I know some are still bidding over the top, but it's not as aggressive as it was a year and a half ago at
Yeah.
$100,000, right?
Correct.
And so now you get to come in and get close to the market ask or right at ask or maybe even a little bit of a discount.
Mhm.
You buy it lower, right? And when the market does improve, you turn around, you refinance it. And that's where that education comes in, right?
Correct. And we always tell them, don't worry about the rates so much, because there's all these 2-1 buy downs and everything like that, which are
That's right.
intricate, which you guys can explain better, but that's an option.
It is.
And also you could just buy now and gain a little bit of equity. And if the rates have gone down, you refinance. If the rates have gone up, then you know you did the right thing. And it's just a matter of having that talk and easing them.
When you finance at a lower purchase price.
Right.
If you waited, you get in, you buy it for more, and you get a better rate, but you paid more for the house. You get in now, you pay less for the house than it will be once it appreciates, and you refinance it, and you're
Hmm.
refinancing off that lower balance. So it's going to work out in your benefit.
Yeah, more importantly, some of the things that we educate some of our clients about is like, whenever someone buys a house, they're automatically generating at least $100,000 of wealth for their family. Now, obviously, in our marketplace where the price of houses are a little bit more expensive, that number's probably 150 grand. So the folks that are saying, "Well, I'm going to wait and I'm going to rent," that's 100% interest that they're paying. So, it's a simple mathematical equation. What's lower, 6.5 or 100?
100,
Right.
Yeah.
exactly.
More importantly, they're missing out on tax write-offs and things of that nature, right? So, it's awesome that you take an educated stance to some of these clients and and I think it's prudent in the marketplace that we're in today. Um, where do you see the market going here in the next 12 to 18 months? And I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you've been in the business a
She
while.
might. She
Yeah,
might.
yeah.
I wish.
Well, I don't want to put any too undue pressure on her. Hey, she said this.
In the
But
next 12 to 18 months. Well, inventory's low.
It is.
We were at a crisis during COVID, but it's still very low. We're not in a comfortable place. So as long as inventory's low, it's always a good time to sell. Um, I see, like you said, the values are going up at a steady rate of at between 4 and 6%, in some places up to 10%. Whereas we were seeing them values going up by the month. We
right,
are seeing that those yearly values. I think the market is stabilizing.
It is.
We are in a state of inflation right now,
We
but
are.
I think that's why the market is stabilizing. We are not in a place where it was sustainable.
right,
And so I think that we have to get we just have to get used to the new normal, which is a higher interest rate. And hopefully, as builders step up the inventory, I don't see it. It looked like it was going towards a balanced market for a while,
mhm,
for maybe the last 12 months, but I see it back into being a seller's market, back with low inventory. We just hope that the buyers can, these builders can step up.
right.
But I don't see major changes between now and 18 months.
So there's hope in the horizon, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I see some stabilization.
Yeah, there's hope in the horizon. Well, we like to touch on this, and we're getting close to wrapping up. But we heard about the family, right? And we always like to talk about that. So tell a little bit about you've got husband, kids.
I have 2 kids and an ex-husband.
I've got an ex-wife, so
Um, yeah, they're becoming older now. My daughter's going to be a senior at
that's awesome.
McKinney Boyd High School, and my son is thinking about getting into the industry as well.
Oh, that's
We're going to
fantastic.
start schooling on being an inspector,
I
Oh,
love
home
it.
nice.
inspector.
I love it.
So we'll be going in the family
We
business.
see that often because Clint's parents were both in the real estate side of the industry. His dad actually is a champion school of real estate. He helped build all those out.
That's where we're attending next week.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
And then his mom was one of Gary Keller's first agents. She's
Wow.
actually in the book, believe it or not.
Who's,
Yeah, millionaire real estate.
yeah, of course we've read that. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be with Keller
Yeah,
Williams.
Peggy Ritchie.
Okay, I'll have
Yeah.
to reread now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my dad told me the story one time, and he's like, "Yeah, she's in that book." I was like, "No, she wasn't." He goes, "Yeah, pull it out." And I go, "I don't have one." So I ordered one on Amazon, and sure enough, right there on page 11, she was one of the first agents in the first mastermind class.
I'm gonna check it
And
out
I
now.
was like, "Wow, okay, that's pretty cool."
Well, funny thing is, turns out his father has like 4 cases of the books in his
Oh yeah, no,
garage.
we all do. Listen, you don't have to be a KW agent to read that book. You should, if
Yeah,
as any
yeah.
real estate agent, read that book. I've got it tabbed up.
Talk about why that what talk about the good nuggets in that book that you kind of got from it.
Oh, repeat what successful people have done.
Right.
That's my
Yeah,
major thing.
that's right.
That's what my major takeaway from that book,
So
for sure.
if there was a new agent out there or someone that was thinking about getting into the real estate business, what kind of words of wisdom would you lend them?
If they're brand new and they have some sales talent, because not everybody's made to do everything, okay?
Right.
But if I see some potential there, I would my best advice for them is to get connected with a strong real estate group or team, because you'll learn a lot just by osmosis, just by being with successful
Yeah.
people, and you have different levels of expertise and knowledge, and you have nothing but knowledge to gain from that kind of an environment. So that would be my best. And read, and research, and subscribe to Inman News and all that stuff. Because until you're out there on the pavement doing the deals, you have to know the industry,
Right.
past, present, and future.
Yeah, real estate success partners, right?
Hmm.
Surround yourself with other successful real estate agents. Create your real estate success partners. Learn from that, and grow with the team that you're on. And then, if you get to the point where you want to branch out, you can. But at the beginning of the stages, you want to get out there with the people that know what they're doing. And Anna, that's you. Uh, you're definitely one of those people. And all I hear from you, with everything that we've talked about here, is just expert in the industry, expert in the industry, expert in the industry.
An
You've
educator.
showcased
Hmm.
an educator, and that is why we wanted to have you on the show, because we knew that you had a voice that people out there needed to hear, right? So, well, Anna, I know we could have you here all day because we can talk it up all day. That's what we
Yeah,
do,
we didn't
right?
talk about Giants football.
Yeah, we did. But at the end of the day, is there anything that we should have asked you that we missed out on?
No, I mean, I love talking about real estate. My family's sick of hearing about real estate.
Well, we're not.
Yeah.
No, I just think that if anybody out there is needing some real expertise and they are in the market, listen, everybody knows a real estate agent. You can, how does it go? You can swing a cat and hit at least four of us.
Right.
But I'm not good with
I'm
Americanisms. I
gonna
might
No,
have
have
you're
gotten
that.
that
good. That
I'm,
wrong.
was
I'm gonna have that
perfect.
image in my head for a while. Yeah, the
But
swinging
Just don't say
cats.
swinging a cat around my wife.
okay,
She's a
okay.
cat lady.
But you don't need to do those people a favor with the largest investment of your life.
That's right.
So call somebody, call an expert,
Call
call
Anna.
us, Tanya
Yeah.
Peak Group, or call Anna Mangieri. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Um,
How do they
um,
find you on Facebook?
on
What's the
Facebook, it's just me. I also have my real estate page, which is called McKinney Mindset, because I live there and I do like to work a lot there. But as I stated, I work everywhere. We office here out of Frisco, and or just call the Tiny Peak
just
Group.
across from the star? That's where we're at.
That's
That's where
right.
we got the Cowboys
Yeah.
Your
jerseys
favorite
on.
football team.
Yeah. So I am going to hit you with one more thing, and,
Okay.
and I always love to ask this question. What's the one moment in your career that just kind of defines everything? The one that you say, man, this was the most amazing part of being in real estate. It's just
Yeah, your
it
proudest
changed me.
moment.
Yeah, your proudest
This
moment.
one? Well, you know, every year is always better than the last, and I have, they love giving awards. Real estate agents love to award each other, but the recognition is great. But when Tiny announced that I was the number one agent for 2022,
That's
that
awesome.
was really a wonderful thing because I know how hard I worked,
Yeah.
and it was good to hear. And and I hope to just keep going.
Number one agent in 2022. And let me tell you something. If you want to find Anna, you're going to want to, you're going to want to, right? It was
McKinney Mindset is on
McKinney Mindset. She's got that McKinney Mindset. So McKinneyMindset.com, or you can check her out on Facebook. And let me tell you something, if you're looking for the right person to buy the house from, or somebody that can educate you on the best way to list the house, you're not going to want to miss an opportunity here with the Tanya Peak Group and Anna Mangieri. So thank you so much for being on the show. Clint, anything you want to throw out there before we wrap this one up?
No, I just want to say, Anna, you did fabulous. I really appreciated you coming on board, and I can understand why you're such a rock star, true
Yeah.
professional,
Thank
and
you.
an educator. So congratulations to you on what you've done, and more importantly, what you're going to do moving forward. And if anybody needs to get pre-qualified so that we can have you work with Anna, you can definitely reach out to Clint Ritchie at the RitchieMortgageTeam.com, and my direct number is 972-679-1028. And I work, via phone call, text, 7 days a week, and we'll get you fixed up. So
And you'll be in great hands with Richie again. Background from real estate, right? From agent to loan officer. So he's been doing this a long time. We've worked with each other for over a decade. So if you want to be in great hands on the mortgage side, reach out to Clint. If you want to be in amazing hands on the real estate side, again, Anna Mangieri and the Tanya Peak Group. Guys, we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuque,
and I'm Clint Ritchie.
and we appreciate you stopping in. If you want to find us, you can check us out on Spotify, iHeart, all your major listening platforms. If you want to see us on the video side, come check us out at YouTube. And we absolutely love those 5-star reviews. So until next time, we'll see you then.